Thank you for tuning in to All About the Girls, the podcast. We're your host, me, Jenny Craig Brown, interviews incredible women to learn what powers them, what inspires them, and how they make our world a better place. Let's get to it. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of All About the Girls, the podcast. As you might notice, we're mobile, and I am here with Amber Pulford. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, glad to be here. Happy to be with you today.
I'm so excited to have you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We are recording from South Bend.
We are.
As we launch Michiana Life, as GreatNews.life launches Michiana Life, we really want to include some incredible women from the Michiana area. And what better than Amber, who is the market president for Everwise Credit Union for South Bend and Elkhart, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we'll dive into plenty of that. But just as we dive in, kind of give me, I've met you a couple times.
Yeah.
You were one of the first people I met as we came into the region. And you were one of the first people everyone told me I had to know.
Okay.
Like you, Stephanie Kroll, those were the two people probably that everyone's like, you've got to meet them. You got to know them. Everyone knows them and they know everyone.
Very
so you
cool.
are the who's who, if
All
you
right.
will. So tell me just a little bit about you, who you are, your upbringing, your background.
Yeah. Oh, man. So
That's a big question.
Yeah. Born and raised in Michiana. So that's the first thing. And that's probably why a lot of people know me, because I really only left for college. So I was born in the old St. Joe Regional Hospital when it was in its old location downtown Mishawaka.
Amazing.
Went to Quillard, which is a South Bend school, and then graduated from Penn High School. Went on to Purdue. When I graduated, and did a OLS background, which that's organizational leadership and supervision. So that's a broad major that I knew I wanted to be in business, selling and sales, just didn't know where. So
that kind of kicked it off for you.
Kicked it off. Loved being a Boilermaker. The first time I stepped foot at Purdue was when I went to Purdue for orientation. So I didn't go on campus visits or anything. I was too busy. I was a drum major of the marching band. I was in any sort of after school activity that I could be in, worked as much full time as I could when I was in high school. So the first time that I went to Purdue, I was like, all right, I signed up for 4 years here. Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
I loved it. Loved being a Boilermaker.
I'm a big fan of Purdue. I lived in Lafayette for quite a few years. I've got family that are alumni. Yes, absolutely. So, and is that okay to say here in South Bend? Are we okay?
No, because Purdue and Notre Dame aren't really a rivalry.
They're a little bit separate, right?
Well, we play each other and it's always a fun game. We just absolutely annihilated Purdue last week or 2 weeks ago. So that was a little painful down in West Lafayette.
It's a little bit of hit for you, but
I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. So when I was at Purdue and we played Notre Dame, I was in full Notre Dame apparel. I had no fear in doing that. Sometimes I had water bottles thrown at me. It didn't matter. I've always been an Irish fan.
Feisty. Yeah, exactly. So you can balance both. Yep. It's not, USC or anything. Yeah. So we can talk Purdue. Okay, good.
Yeah. So I graduate from Purdue. The economy just started getting rough. So this was 2007. So things were starting to feel funny, but we didn't really feel it in our graduating class. None of us really had problems getting a job. I got a job as a civil and architectural engineer recruiter at Aerotech on the north side of Indianapolis. And I was just sure I was never coming back to South Bend. I'm like, I've made it. I'm out of here. I'm going to live in the big city.
Yes.
I rented an apartment where I could walk to anywhere I wanted to go. I was so excited. And I lasted about 7 months and I wanted to come back to South Bend. So I was like,
you knew where your heart was and it was not there.
My whole family's here. And I actually got a message from Jim Seitz, who was at First Source Bank. And he's like, I think you'd be great in banking. And I have a management training program that I'm heading up, and just come back and see what you think about banking. And I was like, all right. And I had family in banking. So that was my first banking job. So you
worked with First Source as your first banking job.
I did.
Which is kind of based here in the area. So this is kind of the headquarters.
Yeah. We're looking at it right now, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
That's
you're right. Here it is.
Yeah.
See, because we're at the Chamber building. So we do I have to say, shout out to the Chamber, South Bend Regional Chamber of Commerce for hosting us today to record. Because of course, being so far away, it's a little tougher to get folks all the way out to our Valparaiso studio. So this is fantastic. And then also shout out, if you see our cool little backdrop here, the Career Academy for Success and Rob Kohler hooked us up with their large format printer for the day so that we could have this on the go to come interview you. So you're right. Yeah, we are looking at the First Source building right here. And that's what a big part of your history.
Yeah. It was
Things
great.
would have been different if you would have said, nah.
No, and I probably wouldn't have fallen into banking and understand and the cool thing over there, they had a management training program. So you could see all different types of banking careers that you could be in. And I really loved the sales side. So that's sort of where I ended up. Like I've worked for 3 different financial institutions, and all of them have been on the sales side of things.
Okay, really outward facing. Okay,
yeah, so that's how also why I know a lot of people, because I'm always out and about and doing
literally, you know, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so First Source was first. That gave you kind of your interest in banking, the financial institutions. And then where'd you go to from there?
I went to Chase, which okay, great. Chase is a big bank, though. Chase is a worldwide financial institution. I didn't know what I was getting into with that sort of platform and how big it was. And I worked downtown Elkhart, and this is 2009, 2010. And that's when the recession was absolutely horrendous in Elkhart County. So that's when the RV industry was. Yeah,
the housing market was bad. Therefore, the RV industry is bad. Everything's
manufacturing was impacted.
Absolutely.
So I thought at that point I was done with banking. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I had to tell people bad news all day long.
Yeah.
And I went to Enterprise Rent-A-Car. So.
Okay. What a random jump. Okay. I love this.
Everyone was coming to Chase and they had worked at Enterprise and said, oh, I had just had this great experience. And it's like getting your master's. It's like getting your
I've heard great things about their training. They offer a lot of training and growth opportunities.
Tons,
right?
Yes. So I was like, I'm going to do the opposite. So I started at Enterprise as a management trainee. Everyone does. And I worked all the way up to a regional manager there. So I was a market manager. I had Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and the St. Joe Elkhart region, all the retail branches, and then National and Alamo and the airport locations.
Okay.
So I was super, super busy traveling, and I had just had Max. So I have 2 kids. So
we've got to go into that realm too.
Oh yeah. Max was a baby. Emmy was 1.5 years, 2 years old at this time. And Centier Bank reached out to me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Said, we're moving retail into Michiana. We came across your resume. We'd really like to talk to you. And I was like, I'm done with banking. I don't think this is going to be right. I don't know about this, but okay, let me just hear from you. I talked to them and it was just, oh my gosh, this is the best I've ever heard. I cannot believe the culture. There's no way this is true.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm going to come out to Maryville and meet with you.
Okay.
So.
And the Maryville Center, if you've not been, it is gorgeous. The headquarters as well. Yes, it is absolutely glorious. You walk in, it's very grand. It is. It's a beautiful entry. It's a beautiful building, and that's their headquarters. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. So I drove out there, went on the 4th floor, interviewed there, and I had to do it. I'm like, you know what? I said I didn't want to be in banking, but let's do this. And so for just shy of 9 years, I helped bring Centier's retail brand into Michiana. So
because they weren't really out here then.
We had a LaPorte location and a Plymouth location when I started.
Wow.
And so then we opened the County Road 17 Elkhart location and the Day Road Mishawaka location, and then all the other branches to build out LaPorte, St. Joe, Elkhart, Marshall, and Allen County.
Oh my gosh.
So phenomenal company, just absolutely great.
Okay.
Loved every minute of it.
I love Centier. They are a partner of Great News. So we work with them regularly as well. Actually, all of these folks but Enterprise, sorry folks, we work with. So this is really fun to kind of talk through your journey.
Yeah.
So Centier was kind of, you got back into banking, it sounds like, through Centier.
Yeah. And I was the regional sales manager. So I was the branch manager's manager.
Okay.
And so I loved every second of it, except for maybe COVID. COVID was not very fun for any banker. We had to do a lot of staffing things. The PPP loans, which were so helpful to so many people. I mean, a lot of the retail teams of all the banks in town, they just did whatever it took to get people the EIDL funds, the PPP loans, but that was a tough time.
Just helping everyone else kind of get through what they were going through however you could.
Yep.
It sounds like.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm very lucky. I got hired by Nicole Alcorn at Centier, and she ended up going to TCU, and I took some of her region when she left Centier. And so she's the reason now I'm at Everwise. So she's head of retail, and she's a senior manager over at Everwise. And she told me this requisition was going to be open, and she's like, it's basically your resume. Like, look into
this is
doing
a perfect
this.
fit for you.
And oh my gosh, is it? Like, it took everything that I've done throughout my career and my education, and it puts it into one position, and it's just all my strengths. Like, I just had lunch with one of my old bosses today, and I was like, I'm using everything that I could use.
You needed all those pieces to be able to do this role now.
Yes. Yep.
So it's kind of like that perfect fit where it all fell into place properly at the right time.
And you don't see it really. That's not why I did the career path that I did. But if I wouldn't have done the steps that I did, and I was lucky enough when I was at Centur, they sent me to the Graduate School of Banking in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh.
So I ended up doing a 3-year program there, and you get basically just intense banking education. It was a 3-year, I don't know if you'd call it a master's, but it's essentially a master's degree. And then you also got an executive leadership certificate along with that. So, I mean, that was a requirement on education for the job I have now. So it's just like everything just fell into place to be market president at Everwise, which is absolutely phenomenal.
And when did you come to Everwise? What year was that?
I just hit 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I
6
love
months.
this so much. It is such a perfect route that just happened the way it was just a perfect happening.
It just worked.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your upbringing. You mentioned you grew up here.
I did.
Went off to Purdue for school. When did you start having kids? Tell me about that life.
Oh, so I had Emmy and Max both when I was at Enterprise. So I was 25, 26, and then 28 when I had Max.
Okay, a couple years apart. Good.
Well, they're 16 months apart.
Okay.
That wasn't intentional, but it ended up working out great. So
it's great now. It was probably crazy at the time.
Crazy. I never got out of the baby stage, but they are in 5th and 7th grade now, and like independent. And they don't need me in the same way. So it's crazy, but it's interesting because a lot of people say, like, when's the right time to have kids? And should you wait and sort of get into your board service or really like put the gas, your foot on the gas at work after you have kids? I think it worked doing it at the same time, like when they were small, because now I'm more strained on time with them being in travel soccer. That if I wasn't already sort of established on some of the positions I have in the boards, I think it'd be more difficult now to like start that.
Because then you have to make all those meets and greets happen, and you have to get all those connections going, but you have to do it with all of these other things happening, which is just insane. Yeah. I mean, I'm certain it was insane then too, but it's 2 kids at any point is tough, but it's just different.
Yeah. And it's when I reflect on that, and I think now, like, I think it would have been a lot harder to do it another way, but I didn't know that that's what I was setting myself up for. Like, I didn't know that it was good to do that when they were younger, because I sort of had mom guilt, you know. Should I be doing events after work, or should I be at home with them, or should I be on boards, or should I be giving that to the kids?
Yeah.
And I think now
make that work.
Yeah, it just worked out, and I can see the benefit of what I did to them as well. Like, they're seeing that you can sort of do more than just one thing.
Yeah, they see you succeeding at that balancing act, and so they see it, and they're going to take that on with them too, I would assume. Yeah. And now you can be there for the stuff that they're going to remember forever. Yes. Right? Like the 2nd-year-old, like, who remembers their 2nd birthday party?
Right. They don't.
Almost no one. Not that you weren't there for that, obviously, but just they don't remember that little stuff. And now's where it's really impactful. So that's fantastic that you can be there and that you're there all the time and as much as possible. But you do find, I think from my perspective, you find a fantastic balance, because like I said, I met you very early on. You were at our grand opening. I saw you at the 40 under 40 event. Like, I see you a lot out there. So it seems like you're making really good choices on when to attend kid things versus when to attend outward facing things, because you've got that balance going, which is really great.
Yeah. But it takes time to get that balance and figure that out, I think. And it helps that one of the boards I'm on is the Potawatomi Zoo board. So I take them to board meetings. They get to run around and feed the giraffes.
Exactly.
And they're not going to be mad about that. But yeah, it takes time to figure out what to say yes to, what to say no to, where to put your time. And you're going to make mistakes and missteps, and I have.
That's what I was just going to ask. Like, you probably had to learn trial by fire or trial and error of, that's not worth my time in the future, and this is, I would assume. And how do you do that? Or maybe advice for other folks? Because I struggle here too, and I don't even have kids, so I can't imagine how hard it is for some women to just say, I don't know where to use my time. From your experience, any tips?
You can't be everything to everyone, so you almost have to look at your time, treasure, and talent, and make sure that what you're committing yourself to, you're giving 100% of what you can. And it needs, I hate saying like quid pro quo, but you have to get what you give, and you have to get out of something what you're giving to something to stay engaged, and also to give them what they deserve. So I had to figure out that balance. I started seeing that I wanted to be part of regional destination boards. So, like Potawatomi Zoo is the AZA accredited zoo of Michiana. So every county comes to our zoo. So I knew that that would have a better impact. And being part of Rotary, that's a global initiative.
Yeah.
So being part of Rotary, I knew that anywhere that I was going to work or what I was going to do in the future, I'd have connections and I could give back to the communities through Rotary. So I just tried to find things that sort of had that regional arm to it, but also things that I knew that I cared deeply about. So I was going to give them what they deserve. And
because then you care, and the care is just going to take you further than anything else, than any effort or anything else. The love for that group is going to matter, and it's going to show. Yeah. Those are great ones to be a part of. I knew Rotary. I didn't know Potawatomi Zoo. So Rotary, we had talked before just about how important it is to you. What was that? How did that come about? How did you learn about Rotary? And then what made it so important to you? Because you're a really big part of it. We talked about your, I think it's upcoming
our
World Polio Day. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Rotary and why that was important for you.
So I had always heard of Rotary, and I guess I sort of had the same bias that a lot of people have. It was sort of like the old boys club. Like it was a bunch of like businessmen sitting around a table. Like I always viewed them like drinking whiskey and smoking a cigar and like, just talking about how
like Mad Men life.
I had always heard of it, and I knew loosely what it was, but it was when I started at Centier and I started getting to know a lot more people in the community. I started hearing people saying, I'm a Rotarian or I'm in Rotary. And then Beth North from Force 5, who also knows everyone, she invited me to a Rotary meeting back in 2000. I don't know, it was probably 13, 14-ish. And then I went to a few meetings and I was like, these are my people. I mean, Rotary's mantra is service above self. So we don't have our companies on our name tags. We have our industry, but you don't talk about yourself and what's in it for me. You do things for others, but then what that turns into, it just ignites. It's just amazing.
Yeah. We've seen so often through my different jobs or even within this career, the helping one another gets you way further than the work to network, right? All of that happens so naturally while you're helping other people in something like Rotary. And that just makes a big impact.
Well, and we don't say like it's a professional networking group, but it is, because you're with the same people repeatedly. There's no attendance requirements, but I want to be there, and I have to be now because I'm the president. But
that helps.
Even when I wasn't, I wanted to go see everyone at lunch. And so when you had a problem come up, you knew a Rotarian that could help you. Or if you had a customer or a client that was like, hey, I need a referral for this, look around the room. Like we had every industry, and these are people we trust. They all have servant hearts. Lead with servant leadership, have servant. I mean, it's just.
So now you're with all these people that want to help you as much as you want to help them. Yeah. So when you're in need and vice versa, it just works.
It works. Yep.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
I love it. I love being in Rotary.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Any other groups? So we've got Potawatomi Zoo, Rotary. Any other boards or anything that you're on?
I'm on a few other committees. So I'm on the Logan Center. I'm on their event committee. So I help with the garden party and the Nose On event every year for them. And those are also great feel-good events that celebrate all and everything. You know.
Now, the Logan Nose On, I think everyone knows a little bit about the walk and roll and the Nose On. I remember not only from when I lived in here, because I lived here 2004 to 2010 or something like that. And I just remember, but even growing up in the port, I remember the nose, right?
The nose has been a big thing. Yeah. Well, walk and roll, that I'm on the zoo board, so I got them connected.
Oh yeah,
so
what a great connection.
They could do that, because that was a third event for them that was big, and that is such a feel-good, awesome event. And I'm so glad
I haven't got to go yet. I'm really upset.
It was a few weeks ago.
Same with the garden party.
Yeah, the garden party is an amazing event. This last year was at Notre Dame. Before, we'd always did it at private residences, but it's just such a different demographic and it's such an important, it gives resources for autism support.
Yeah.
And that's just such an important initiative. So
I love that. And that one just happened, I think, too. So we've missed it for the year, but same thing. Logan's another great local entity serving a great amount of the community.
Correct.
So it's a good need. So well done.
And then I'm on the dinner committee for the History Museum. So our gala is coming up actually this Thursday. That's always a great event, but that's just the history of South Bend in there. So helping make that gala successful, I'm really excited. This was the first year I was on that dinner committee, but I've absolutely loved that experience. So I'll do it again.
That's really great.
Yep. Then I'm an Elkhart Chamber ambassador. So the ambassadors at the South Bend Chamber and Elkhart are very similar, but you celebrate the members in the chamber. You go to ribbon cuttings and grand openings. So that's how we met. I was there because I was an Elkhart Chamber ambassador. So I love that crew. And
they're so nice. And I was so impressed. We're the newbies in town. Yeah. And I know that's hard for folks, but the chambers both embraced us immediately, and thus the community behind them did too. Like, we have had great reception since the start of the company, but this was probably our biggest, warmest welcome we've received yet, is this Michiana community. And I think it was largely in part because of those two chambers just really having our backs, helping us connect with folks like you, and just pushing it out to the community a ton. And the ambassadors are a big part of that. That's what helps that grow.
Yeah,
and
it was the boots on the ground for sure.
It is. So, well said. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So tell us about your family life. You've got 2 kids. Live right here in the region.
Yep, I live in Granger.
Okay.
My boyfriend and I actually went to Penn together and Purdue. So we reconnected after 20 years, which is awesome.
Oh my gosh. That's a cute story.
Yes, it's really cool. So we went to Penn together. He was a rugby player and I was in the marching band. And then we were very close at Purdue, but we both went separate directions, married other people, and we were both single at the same time and reconnected. So it's really neat.
That's such a cool fit.
Yep.
And tell me a little bit about yourself as a kid. I think of you today, if you guys are not on YouTube, you should go to YouTube. Amber always looks incredible.
Oh, stop.
She is this fashionista. You're always dressed to the nines. You always have heels. I envy all of this because it's just not who I am. But you have this cool fashionista style about you. Is that something that's been since you were young? Is that when you were in high school? How did that come out? Tell me a little bit about your young self.
Yeah. So my sister is the media liaison for the South Bend Police, Ashley O'Chap. She's phenomenal. If you haven't met her, you need to meet her.
Okay, I have not, and I need to.
She's really changed how people view the police on social media. She's just made it so positive and fun. And so, but Ashley's always she worked for WSBT for a very long time. She was a morning news producer. She always wanted to interview me. She always wanted to be in front of or behind cameras and walking around with a tape recorder. So she was constantly grooming me to be in front of the camera. And I guess we didn't know that at the time, but then we both ended up like she's behind the camera and I'm in front of it. Fashion.
It's literally huge parts of your day.
I know. Fashion. I just have my own style and I've always been like that. I don't really go off of trends. I just do what I like.
You really do always do your own thing, but it's like timeless.
Yeah. Thank you.
You always look great. You're always on point. It's just fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
And you can tell like it is your style. The shoes. I mean, you've got the little ankle heel. It's so cute. Like that is just a cool thing to kind of have about you. Yeah. I try to be as eclectic as I want to be. Yeah. And we know, of course, in business, it's a little, you got to ride that line. Yeah. But you do that really well.
Thank you.
So I love that.
It's been easy. It's funny because I saw a friend of mine, Leo Premer, is at some training. He's an Edward Jones advisor. He used to be on a Rotary board with me, but he posted a side-by-side of the same conference 5 years ago and today. And he's not wearing a tie and he's not wearing a suit, but he still looks so good.
Yeah.
And I think it sort of helped that now like bankers I used to wear a suit every single day and now you don't have to.
I've definitely seen that kind of across the board post-pandemic. People can kind of polo and jeans is a little bit more regular now, or shirt with no tie or something like that. You can get away with a lot more.
Very different.
It doesn't have to be the stark suit and heels or suit.
But it is hard
and tie.
To what you just said, it's hard to dress professionally without wearing a suit. So it takes trial and error and sort of just you can take some concessions, but you shouldn't take too many.
Yeah,
you still need to look professional.
Yes, absolutely, exactly.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your sister. Is that your only sibling?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so it's just the two of you.
Yep, just me and my sister. She's 5 years younger.
Okay.
Yep. My dad worked his whole career at American Electric Power at Cook Nuclear Plant. Yep. And then my mom was a teller and loved being a teller.
Oh my gosh, that's full circle.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So they still live locally.
And do you have any nieces, nephews?
Oh yeah.
Does she have kids?
Yeah. So Olivia is Ashley and Brad's child. She's 3. She's a firecracker. She loves Mario, all things Mario.
Really?
She likes the evil characters of Mario, which like cracks me up. Like she's so funny. She's awesome. They live in South Bend, so love spending time with her.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm the infamous aunt life. I don't have kids. Me and my husband don't want any kids.
Yeah.
But I have several nieces and a nephew.
I think you said that.
Love that.
It's so fun. It's fun to spoil them.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, and I actually spoiled Emmy and Max so much, so it's fun to be able to have her and with Olivia now.
I see that between my sister and brother, where they get to kind of help each other now.
Yep.
And it used to be a little one-sided before my brother had kids, where we were just spoiling my sisters only, and now I get both, and my sister can kind of give that back a little bit too. It's really neat.
Yeah, it's neat.
So tell me about women in your life. I always touch on women in your life that have impacted you.
Yeah.
It sounds like maybe your sister's on that list, but who are some other women that have impacted you throughout your life, and how?
Okay. I'll start with Beth North. So Beth is my Rotary sponsor. Beth, very early in my career, always made sure to introduce me and connect me with people that she thought would improve something. Like either I could give them advice or they could give me advice. It could be a mentor relationship. We just need to know each other because we were both similar in our careers or similar in our status or whatever it might be. She always is connecting me to people. So she has expanded my network, and I don't think she realizes how grateful I am to her.
That's great.
Ann Pfefferman, my coworker,
I love her.
Okay.
So we've worked with Everwise as a marketing partner for years.
Yeah.
And she was I met her, she was in the Goodwill fashion show.
She was.
Gosh, she is just,
she's
same thing. She's so eclectic. She's got her own style.
She does.
And she rocks it. And she's so fun.
Yeah. So Ann's, she's in Rotary with me, but she used to, I've known Ann 8 years. She's always connected me to people and made sure that I knew about events that were happening. And she worked with my mom. My mom did work at TCU for a period of time, and she worked with Ann. So I think that's when we first met. But there's just, Amy Kins from Barnes and Thornburg. Like I try to keep my network around people that are striving and pushing and doing great things for the community and for themselves, and good friends, good moms, good coworkers, good whatever. You know, I just try to keep my circle with good people.
And that I was actually just emailing. We have All About the Girls has created an alumni list, if you will, of people that have been on the podcast or spoken at our annual event. And I want to bring those folks together in an alumni group for that sole purpose. Yeah. I feel like, and I love that you're bringing up these folks, because so often in these interviews, and I literally said this to this group, most often in these interviews, when I ask that question, mom, aunt, mentor, maybe a previous boss, sister, those come up. Oftentimes it's not colleagues or friends. And I really think that's most often because when we get into the day-to-day life of life, and when we're having kids and we've got to take them to soccer practice and we have to do all these things, oftentimes those friendships that we create kind of either don't get made because we're doing 10 other things, or they fall off a little bit because you're both so busy, and it's really hard to do that. So seeing that you do have this great collection of women, and Jane Fonda talks about it all the time, about there's this direct correlation between women's mental health and the friendships they have with other women in their lives.
I believe
it. As those go up together, right? So I think it's so important to have, they don't have to be your best friend. Obviously, we should all have a best friend.
Sure.
But if not, I'll be your best friend. But everyone needs that best friend. Everyone needs that person, but they also just need friends and colleagues that are women that will help them. Hey, can you connect me to this person? Can you connect me to this person? You've already been that person for me in this community, and it's so kind. Stephanie Kroll, same thing. She's just like, who do you need to know? Sharina Gonzalez, good friend. She has been so helpful, and those folks have been like, oh, let me introduce you to this person, this person. Now, outside of Sharina, she's known me 20 years or something.
Yeah.
Everyone else doesn't know me
Yeah.
from Moses, and they are so happy to help the connection. Obviously, it's a little easier in what we do. We're selling, we make and create and share positive news.
Yeah.
But still really, you are all willing to help one another. And that's really important.
Yeah, it really is.
I love that. And that's what this is all about is I want to get to know folks so I can learn how they're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can all learn from one another. And then how do we help connect and build a group? Because if we've got a group of powerful women that are here for one another, we're unstoppable.
Yeah.
And that is what I want to create with this is learning more from other folks and then taking that information and sharing it with everyone in the world,
You need to go to Women in Business if you haven't been yet, but.
Okay, tell me more. Okay. Oh wait, this is the St. Mary's one?
Well, no.
The St. Mary's group? No?
No.
Okay.
So this is a group. It was started by Santana and Kennedy.
Okay.
Kennedy's at Cressy Commercial. So she's my past coworker. And then Santana's at Gibson.
I don't know this. Okay. No. I'm so excited.
We just had I think it was our 3-year anniversary at Corby's last week.
Great.
Last Thursday, Wednesday. But so 3 years in, but it's Women in Business. So we get together once a month. If you can go, great. If you can't, you can't. But it's just strong women, really connected women from around the community, supporting each other, being there. They had a Firefly conference last year. It's just such a positive group, and you just feel so connected and so supported in that group.
Okay.
And that sort of speaks to what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Like how important those connections are.
It really is.
Support. Yeah.
It just creates a lot of strength.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need as a group.
Yeah. I'll make sure I invite you the next
time. Okay,
one.
Please
it's a
let
really
me know.
Good group.
Yes, that's fantastic. I will definitely do that. And tell me a little bit about, so thinking back to when you began your career, to where it is now, how similar or how different is the two? What you thought would be back when you started to where it is now?
I had to be intentional recently on thinking of the future and actually having 5-year and 10-year plans, which I really suggest to people to do. But I wasn't like that when I was younger. I was sort of living in the moment, and I always had the mentality like, why not? And if something sounded great and it was going to develop me in a different way, like, let's do it. Like, you're young and let's do it now. So I don't know that I can answer that. I don't think when I graduated Purdue, I thought I'd be the market president at that time, TCU, now Everwise.
Yep.
But now that when I started making plans and seeing what my future is, it's very aligned because I was more intentional on what I was doing. But I don't know. I wish I would have thought through things.
Done some of that kind of early planning back then. I completely agree. I feel the exact same for myself as knowing what I know now. I should have done more then to plan, but I didn't know that.
You don't know what you don't know. So,
exactly. You don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
Well said. And tell me about throughout your life, what are some obstacles or adversity that you've had to overcome? What's that hard stuff, the nitty gritty of your past that really kind of formed who you are?
I probably would have answered that differently before 2021, but in 2021, my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and my dad is my best friend. And thank God he's still with us today, but he's still fighting that fight. So I don't think I'm going to view anything as difficult as having my best friend and my dad have cancer, and a cancer that right now is considered a death sentence, like that's like the scariest thing. And it's hard to get that out of your mind but my dad and I talk every day, and I want to make him proud, and me like not doing what I'm capable of is not going to do him any good. So, I think that's been the hardest.
Yeah, that's a really tough one.
COVID, it was really hard.
Sure.
Professionally, COVID was a really hard time, like e-learning. I have guilt still today that Emmy's struggling a little bit in math. And is it because I put her in a conference room or put her in the basement with me while I was on Teams meetings, and didn't do the e-learning with her and let her figure that out?
I think I could definitely understand the guilt. I would definitely say try to kill that obviously any way you can, but I don't know that you can.
Yeah.
But that is an insane. I just don't know how anyone expected that to go well, right? Like, these parents are trying to work from home and trying to help teach their children at home, all while being at home.
Yeah.
And this is such an insane life. Like, most parents were blessed to have a child that could sit and not be disruptive. I mean, a 4-year-old kid is not going to sit in a chair all day and look at an iPad. No. They're just not going to. And so how do you take meetings and how do you figure that out? And how do you balance your kids learning with your career and all of those things? That's just so
it was impossible.
Impossible. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything you could have done better than what you did because none of us knew what we were going through.
And I don't think we knew how long it was going to take or what that ramification would be, but I'm very lucky. Emmy's got a great tutor now and helping her catch back up. But it was hard to.
And she's young enough that she'll definitely catch back up. And I think you'll be great. But it's just, that's a hard one. That's a really great one to mention is I think there's a lot of parents that have a lot of guilt from how they dealt with the pandemic. And it's like, I mean, I think as long as you dealt with it the best you could, that's all you can do because it was such an unknown, unprecedented time. There's just no way we could figure it out.
Yeah. I'm a glass half full kind of person. So it's hard to I didn't have the greatest elementary school experience, but Quiller did great for me by giving me an education that maybe was a little bit different than some of my classmates. And we worked in smaller groups and I had so much diversity and I got so much better perception on what the world really looks like at Quiller than I did at Penn Harris Madison. So it's hard for me to view other parts of my life as a struggle. It's more of a learning experience. And
I love that you look at it that way.
It's just, I've always tried to do things that way. Yeah.
It's a great viewpoint.
Yeah.
Because you're better off looking at the positive, right? I think it's just helpful for you.
Yeah.
Because you can't change it, right? You can't change it. So let's focus on the positive, move forward in any way that we can, and make that even better.
Yeah.
I think that's
easier said than done, but it's good if you can keep that mindset and accomplish that.
Yeah. And, thinking of, and this isn't, anywhere in the stack of cards or lists to do, but thinking of the premise of this podcast and why we do this and that kind of goal to help everyone learn more and learn how everyone else does it. Do you have any advice for women, whether they're just entering that career or kind of speaking to a younger you, that you would give to other folks to help them as they grow in their career?
Yeah, I don't mean to quote Sheryl Sandberg, but I remember her TED Talk when she said, get a seat at the table and sit at the table. I heard that very young and I've always had that mindset. I can do anything I want to do. I just have to work hard and keep working at it. And to have that mindset and have a positivity mindset. At Everwise, we have the tag phrase, confidence changes everything. And that matters.
I like that.
Be confident in what you're doing and keep pushing and keep doing it. And if you get told no, keep trying. There's nothing that we can't do. So just try to keep that mindset and keep positive people around you. It's very easy to get sucked into negativity. It's really easy to start feeling sorry for yourself and pull yourself back out of it as much as you can and try to look at glass half full and try to keep your circle tight with positive people. It's very easy. You hear one toxic employee can ruin a workplace. It's the same thing with friendships. It's the same thing in service organizations. Try to keep negative out as much as you can.
Yes. And how do you do that? You mentioned that a couple of times of keeping that close circle of positively minded people. That's not always easy because maybe your best friend has in the last couple of years had a couple rough ones and they're really negative.
Yeah.
Or you have a family member that's just, you love them to pieces, but man, they're really hard to deal with. How do you do that? And I think sometimes it's just doing it.
It's healthy boundaries. If I had a best friend that was negative all the time, I would try to help them see the positive and help them out of it. But if it started affecting me, I would try to have some healthy boundaries and maybe check in with them, but maybe not spend as much time or get engulfed in it. I'm really empathetic and that's not always a good thing. A lot of people celebrate empathy. And I've said many times in my life, I wish I could be less empathetic.
Because you're going to carry all that.
You carry it.
Yep. I completely agree.
People will say what's wrong with you? And nothing was wrong with me. But then I look around and what I've been dealing with that day and I've taken some of it on and I try not to do that. I'm trying to be mindful of that I'm not feeding off of other people's energy and I'm trying to keep my own.
That's really well said. I think I struggle with that as well as just the empath of it all. And I tend to wear other folks' problems. And what I found through just my own journey of learning, is I think oftentimes when if you are more empathic like that and you hear that problem, you take on that problem as your own. And I just told myself just literally way too recently that I have to stop trying to take on and solve other people's problems.
Right.
They're not mine.
They're not
mine.
Yeah.
And if it is a good friend coming to you for advice, assistance, help, do so.
Yeah.
So often I just take it on myself. No one's asked me to. No one said, hey, Jenny, help me with this thing.
Yeah.
I just do it
You do
because
it.
I feel bad for
It's
that
in your
person
nature.
going through that thing. And it's just, that's not always, like you said, it's not always a great thing.
It's not.
Because you got to protect yourself a little bit.
You do. And you
healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yep.
Okay. I like that. Balance. So we've talked a lot today about the balance of it all. You seem to have a great, sorry, I feel like I have a booger.
Oh,
you
yeah,
would tell me if I do.
No, I will. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're that person.
Yeah.
You'll tell me if I have a booger.
That's also good advice. Like, don't let people walk around with stains. And earlier I saw that my button was undone, so I was flashing everyone all day. I really wish someone would have told me that earlier, but yeah. So,
you're like, seriously, you didn't tell me? You didn't tell me?
Come on.
Okay, come on. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to tell people.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so how do you make that? I always use air quotes. I've said it too many times now on the podcast. It's probably never a balance, right? It's always sometimes the left hand's higher, sometimes the right hand's higher, whatever that works out. How do you make it all work? Not balance, but how do you make that all work where you really can feel good about that home life, good about, your boyfriend, your kids, but your career and your friends and your colleagues as well. Yeah.
This is going to sound cheap, but Outlook saves my life. Like, I put everything into Outlook and I look at it and and I color code it. So I see that I'm doing the right things. I don't have too much orange over purple over red. I use Outlook to balance it. And sometimes I'm not great. It's very hard to figure this out. And I have had to miss some soccer games because of commitments that I'm doing. I've had to say no to my friends. I've had to say no to my family for attending things. And I sometimes have to do that, but I'm trying not to have guilt about that and make it up somehow. Maybe I give more time the next week or in the next month. And also just trying to figure out that yes and no. I don't have to be on every committee. I don't have to go to every event. I just need to have a good balance, and I try to be intentional about it. I'm looking and I'm trying to look at it one day at a time so I don't overwhelm myself, but I'm looking at a month as a whole for my taking care of myself, taking care of my family, like making sure that the balance as much as it can is there.
And if you're balancing it, I think that's a great piece of advice. Outlook, be it, that's okay. I don't think it's cheap. Yeah, whatever calendar you use, just having it. And I think that color code note is a small but strong one. If you're saying, okay, work stuff's red, family stuff's purple, friend stuff's green, man, there's a lot of red and there's not a lot of purple. That gives you, at least you can visually weigh all of those things. And then you can say, okay, this month is really heavy on work, but maybe that's for a reason and it's okay, but I need to make sure that there's more purple in next month or whatever that looks like to help you balance.
Well, and September is always horrible. Like,
is it?
Every year, and that's what's been interesting on like Facebook memories and like Snapchat memories.
Yeah.
I look every September, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so busy, or, oh my God, like
you feel so overwhelmed by the end of it.
Like when I was 23-year-old, like I'm never going to survive this week post, but it seems like every September and October is very busy.
Okay.
And if you look at I think I have 7 events that I would never miss in between September and October. Oh. And that's just when those events always are. It's just always a very busy 2 months. But then November, December, very family time. And then around here, lake effect snow, you can't leave your house. January,
so then you're going to be chilling.
Yeah, you have more family then. So yeah, you just got to balance out the year.
And it's great that I love the perspective of you're looking far enough ahead to say, I'm aware of this.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
But I also know that the balance comes those following. And so it's okay.
Yeah.
And then even the following, I can balance even more.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
No one has any events in January. They're, sleeping or sitting at their desk.
Yes.
And that's it. Yeah.
Lots of movies and family time. So
yes. Yeah. Okay. Well said. That's really great. I like that input a ton. And then I think I'm not sure. I think we might have talked about this. Are you ready for some quick response questions?
Yes, and I didn't read them because I like to be extemporaneous.
Good.
And I'll be better.
I love this.
So,
I try to keep them a little secret just so that they can take you off a little bit.
Okay, great.
And this is a great way, I think, to get to know you a little bit. So a little bit beyond the outward facing.
Yep.
If you had to change your name, what would you change it to?
Tinsley.
Ooh, what a good name. I don't know that I've ever heard that as an option. Where did this come from?
I had first heard it on Real Housewives of, I think, New York a very long time ago, but then I thought it sounded like tinsel and I love Christmas. So I was like, I want my name to be Tinsley.
Cute. I love that. Yeah. Yes. What has been your favorite age so far?
This year, 39.
Really?
I'm about to turn 40. I turned 40 in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. So, happy early birthday.
It just feels like I have everything as figured out as I can. And like, I'm at the best place that I've ever been. And I'm clear on everything that I want to do and want to be. And so, right now.
I like that. I'm clear on everything I want to do and want to be. That's well said.
Yeah.
If you could be one Disney character for a day, who would it be?
Oh, definitely Jasmine.
Oh, I love this. Yeah. You have the greatest answers. They're fast.
She's got the best outfit. I love Aladdin.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. I would 100% be
Okay, Jasmine all the way.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, but this is our buzzer.
Okay.
I brought it on the road with us,
okay.
so we do still have the buzzer. You only have 5 seconds, I should have said. But you're going so fast that you're great at this.
Okay.
If you're boarding an airplane right now, where is it going?
Oh, Tahiti.
Tahiti. Yeah. Have you been, or you really want to go?
We're going, and it's my bucket list. So like I'm making it a commitment that we go in the next year, but that's nowhere else I want to go.
Oh my gosh. It's not even on my list. I need to, I'm adding it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite article of clothing that you own?
I
think this is a big question for you.
Probably, oh gosh, my favorite pajama pants.
I was like oh my gosh,
I bought the same pajama pants from Amazon. Like I have 7 different colors of them. So
really?
Yes. And I always am dressed fancy.
Yes.
And so all I will do is put on pajama pants and like a sports bra or like
at home, you're like comfy.
So they're my favorite pants.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
I'll send you the link.
I was just going to say, we all need to know this. Check the show notes. Breakfast, food, or dessert?
My favorite breakfast food or dessert?
Well, yeah, which would you prefer, breakfast food or dessert?
Breakfast food.
Okay.
And I just love biscuits and gravy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm a fan.
I'm more savory than sweet.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Tropical vacation or mountains?
Oh, tropical.
It sounds like it. Yes, Tahiti. Are you usually early, late, or right on time?
I'm always early.
You're perfect today. Yeah. It was literally perfect.
Yeah, this was more on time than I usually am.
Okay.
I'm usually early because I was in marching band, so to be early is to be on time and to be late is death, all that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite chore to do at the house? Laundry? I
hate laundry.
This is such a funny outcome.
Yeah, I was doing it last night. That's probably why I have so many clothes. I don't like to do laundry. So I'll just donate it. And I buy like major deals so I don't have to wash them. Yeah.
You're like, nope, I got my picture taken. I can't wear this anymore. Goodbye.
It's not even that. I just don't want to laundry it.
Yeah. What is your, that's the one I just read. If you had free tickets to any concert, who would it be for?
Oh, Bieber. I really want to see Bieber. Yeah, Bieber or Maroon 5.
Okay, and you've never seen either one?
No.
Okay.
And I would love to see either of them.
I love that.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you need to sleep?
TV.
You like TV on?
I know that's terrible. So all the therapist closure.
I know, but I'm the same way, and I'm trying to get better at that. But my husband had that habit for years. I never had, especially even when I was, when I lived in South Bend, I was the poor college kid.
Yeah.
So I had, the 3 channels that come with the antenna.
Yeah.
Now, of course, with streaming, we have all of this TV. So and I was so hyper as a kid. Not that that's changed, but I never really watched TV.
Yeah.
So, but my husband he's got a couple shows and he used to work midnight. So he would come home and watch TV while he fell asleep. So it's just, I've taken it on, and I do like to have like a little noise.
Yeah. Well, and it's disturbing because we always watch like serial killer shows before bed, like ID Discovery.
Yep.
But
I'm watching SVU.
Yeah.
My husband's like, what are we watching? Why are we watching people
before
die?
Bed.
What's happening before we go to sleep?
Yes.
I know. I think it is. You're right. It's bad, but TV. I get it. So speaking of, do you watch shows week by week or do you binge all at once?
I prefer week by week because if I binge, I usually don't remember like the show after a little bit. I'm more invested when it's released week by week, but I also binge because
you'll binge occasionally.
Yeah. I can just watch Emily in Paris. Oh, and I watched the Utah Moms. the mom talk or whatever. It's
Oh
called.
yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Okay. I've only watched a couple episodes. Yeah. Is it called Mom Talk?
No,
Mom Talk?
I think it's called, I don't know what it's called, but it
Housewives of
No.
Mormon.
No.
It's Mormon something.
Mormon
right?
Wives or
Mormon Wives or whatever that is.
Secret Life of Mormon.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the big talk right now.
Yeah, I watched that in like a day.
Really?
Yeah.
It is intense. I've only watched a couple episodes and I'm just kind of, my head's a little sideways.
I know. I almost curled my hair and left the buttom straight, but I can't curl my hair anyway. So I almost did.
You're like, I'm seeing a trend here.
Yeah.
What is happening?
It's called Utah curls.
Yeah. Utah curls.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so intense. Do you cannonball or toe dip into a cold pool?
I dive.
You are just a full diver.
Yeah.
I love this.
I dive.
Okay. Go right in. It makes it less.
Yeah.
I think it's easier because I'm the same. Cold plunge, even the hot tub. If it's really hot or it's really cold, I'm just getting right in. Just go in, breathe later.
Yeah.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Don't Stop Believing.
Ooh, good one. What mythical creature could you believe is real? Or maybe would you like to believe?
Probably like a Yeti.
A Yeti would be fun.
Yeah, I feel like that could exist somewhere.
And it would be funny to have a Yeti be real and then have everyone have their Yeti cups. And be like, look at this.
Yeah.
Named after you.
Hello.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hello. And what is one hill that you will die on?
Oh, no.
It could be lighthearted. It doesn't have to be super serious.
One hill. Oh, the Apple's better than Android.
Oh, I love this. Yeah. Okay. I'm an Android person.
Most people are like that. If you're an Android person, you're going to say that.
You really are. Yeah, absolutely. Very good one because it's very divided. I feel like, and I love Apple products for all that they are because I have a Mac. I had all of the iPods, but for some reason, and I think it's just that it was my first. And so I got so used to Samsung through time that I just stuck with it. Yeah. And now I love it.
But you can share things with the kids and stuff. So we're on the same, and I have my Apple Watch and my AirPods. They have me totally.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the package that I think most people love is that they all connect and share so well together that it just makes it really easy. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Good answer.
Thanks.
And that's it. Oh, you did it. Oh. And you didn't even get buzzed. That close one. That was a close one with the clothes.
I didn't know how to answer that.
That was a good one.
Because I was going to say a bra or something, but then that was weird, but I just said it anyway. So I said the pajama pants.
I mean, if you have a favorite bra, that's okay. I feel like we all probably have a favorite. I don't know. Do I have a favorite bra? That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I'm glad now that I don't wear Victoria's Secret bras.
Okay.
No more underwires, and I will never wear an underwire again.
Okay, I'm on the cusp of being in where you're at. Yeah. And I think I need to just make the full dive.
Make the plunge.
I hate underwire.
Awful.
I've never had big boobs, candidly, so who cares? And it's why be uncomfortable any more than we need to?
Yeah, digging in. I used to have those lines under here. I hated it.
Now, do you have a company you prefer? That everyone needs to know about, because I feel like if you went from Victoria's Secret no underwire to something else.
It is, but I can't remember what it's called now because I saw it on a TikTok ad like a few years ago, and I bought it, and then I've just bought tons of them.
And they do comfy no underwire.
Yeah, the comfy no underwire.
Yeah,
Honey
find
Love
your company.
Honey Love. I think it was. Yeah,
because they do shapewear as well. I think.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Yep. I will check them out because same thing. I need some comfy. If the underwire pops out, for some reason, I don't know why this is. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
I don't buy $100 bras.
No.
It makes me infuriated.
Oh, yeah.
I am so annoyed. I'm so mad. The whole thing goes in the trash, and I'm now frustrated with that.
And you get a cut on your arm from the wire.
It just hurts so much.
No more of that.
I think we got to. I love that you figured this out and just said no. I'm in this world. You're not. I'm in this world with heels.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. I used to wear heels to everything all the time, no matter what. I'd be the girl going out dancing with my friends in winter. We all did that where you're like, okay, I'm going to wear the coat until we pull up. Then coat, everything. I'm in heels in the snow. It's crazy. Now I'm like, can I get away with sneakers and this dress?
Okay, well, I only wear heels if I have a skirt or dress on.
Really?
I hate heels.
Really? Okay.
And so, but I keep getting yelled at people because I will like hunch over in pictures because I'm pretty tall. I'm 5'8", and that's not very tall, but around here it is.
Especially with a heel on.
With a heel on, then I was like 5'10", 5'11", and so then I'd be in there like stand up, stand proud. So I've been trying to be wearing heels to be more intentional about me not being insecure about height.
Okay. And like making you
you met me in a heel stage. Yeah. Everyone that knows me would think you're crazy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And most of my heels are orthopedic heels and you just can't tell.
Gosh, because they always look great. Yeah. See, these are not, these are comfortable. Yeah. Okay. Because that's my issue is like, I just don't want my feet to hurt all the time.
Oh yeah, no, that's no good. But if you half the time I'm saying my feet hurt, and I'll have slippers in my purse and throw them on. So
that's smart too. Yeah, I'll usually have a pair of just like quick slip-on sneakers or something that I can throw on if I want to go get some steps or something, and I'm wearing heels. But I really have gotten to a point where it's rare that I wear them.
Yeah.
Well, or now I've got little 2-inch wedge heels and things like that. That I just, they're much easier.
Yeah.
But I love the look of a pointed toe heel.
These are actually really comfortable. But I almost drove from Everwise here, which is steps away because I had heels on. And I was like dreading walking over here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I can understand that.
Yeah.
As I aged, it was one of those things that went out the door for me. But now I think I'm flipped. It sounds like not. Maybe it sounds like you've been a sneaker girl for longer than I even
just
knew.
Flats. Yeah, I like flats.
And I like to find cute flats. Yeah. I'm in that life right now.
I like the Rotary flats. I don't know if you have any
of those,
I
don't. You like them?
You can wash them. They look really good, professional or casual.
Okay, I need to check out Rothy too. Yeah. Look, I'm finding all of these things I'm going to go buy now.
Okay, yeah.
And honey, what was it?
Honey Love.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we've got all of the brands to shop now. You have given some great advice. I really appreciate this. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to touch on? If you think about,
the only thing we haven't talked about is cooking, and that's my biggest passion.
Tell me more. Like really?
I have a fake TikTok cooking channel, so I post cooking videos. I usually
Can you tell us the handle? Do you know it off the top of your head?
It's Purdue Chef Amber.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and Purdue Alum Amber on Instagram. I post everything on Instagram too. But if I'm making dinner, I video record it. And because everyone always knew I like to cook, and people would ask me for recipes, and I don't use recipes, so I'm like, I'm just going to start recording what I'm doing, and so I post it. I love to cook.
This is awesome.
I absolutely love it. My dad taught me how to cook, and I do it every night I can.
Really?
Yep. So like this morning I cooked some rice before I went to work, and then I'll get home at 7:00 tonight after zoo board, and I'm going to make shrimp fried rice tonight.
That's an easy, fast cool. Thing. I did not know this about you, but I love it.
Yeah.
And now I can learn a little bit myself. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's fun.
And probably for the whole fam then you cook for.
Yep.
That's really great.
I love to cook.
And do your kids cook with you as well?
Emmy's just starting to, but the coolest thing about that is that I don't make them chicken nuggets and I don't give them a different meal. They're going to eat whatever I cook. So they have a pretty good palate now.
Yes. And was that hard with them as they grew up? I mean, they're still growing up, but has that been a struggle with, no, I'm not eating that? Or because you started it so young, did it not?
No, it's a struggle, but then they just go to bed hungry and then they're not going to do it the next night. Like, I never was one to like, here, I'll make you a pizza on the side. Like sometimes.
No, my mom didn't either. And you're right. Like some days it was, I'm not eating it. She's like, great, too bad.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about just, you know what, I'm going to try that next time.
But I don't give them intentionally things they wouldn't like. If I'm making like Indian food, I'll make them something different because that might be a little too spicy for them. But most of the time on the nights that we're eating as a family, which are most nights, I make Americana.
That you know that they're going to like. You're not going crazy, but you're, that's fun.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to cook? Do you have one?
I'm Hungarian, so chicken paprikash is always one of my favorite things, but I'm probably best at Italian food.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And your dad taught you.
Yeah.
So he obviously has the passion as well, I would assume.
He does, yep.
That's amazing.
Loves to cook, always cooked. You know, he worked full time, but he'd come and cook us dinner every night. So
that's cool.
Yeah, sat in the kitchen with him. It was fun.
And did your mom cook with him or was she not really doing that?
No, Mom, love you, but she makes cupcakes out of a box and a few other things.
He's the cook. Yes. He's the chef.
Yes.
That's okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm so glad you brought that up. What a great ad.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And how do people connect with you online? It sounds like Purdue Chef Amber, is that what it was?
Yeah, that's my TikTok handle, but then Purdue Alum Amber is my Instagram, and I post everything on there too. So.
And you're on LinkedIn, I think, as well.
LinkedIn, Facebook.
And then I think probably the biggest part is if you're out in the South Bend community, they'll meet you in general.
I'm usually
you're out everywhere.
Yeah, usually around.
You're at Everwise. You're in all the community events. You're a little bit of everywhere. So it sounds like connect with Amber online. Thanks so much for being a part of this. Thank you for being my first Michiana guest.
Love it. Thank you for having me.
This has been really fun. Connect with her online. Go check out all the stuff that we've learned today. And we'll see you next month for another episode of All About the Girls, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Take care.